Singapore's education system is often celebrated for its high standards and impressive results. However, beneath this reputation lies a deeply stratified structure that amplifies privilege and entrenches inequality. Elite schools like Raffles Institution and HWA Chung Institution dominate the Public Service Commission scholarship pipeline, with over 60% of scholarships going to students from just these two schools between 2012 and 2018. Mission policies favor children from wealthier districts, making it easier for them to access top-tier schools, while lower-income families face barriers not only in location but also in resources. The growing tuition arms race, where families spend thousands monthly on enrichment, further widens the gap. Even schemes meant to help like the Child Development Account end up benefiting those who can afford to contribute more, leaving many low-income families behind. In theory, meritocracy should reward effort, but when starting lines are unequal, education becomes a conveyor belt for inherited advantage, dividing rather than equalizing. Singapore's public housing model is often praised globally, but a closer look reveals a system that reinforces inequality. HDB flats are priced using market-rate land costs, even though the land was often acquired at low prices decades ago. This practice inflates housing costs, turning what should be a basic right into a speculative asset. Government's narrative of asset enhancement encourages citizens to view their homes as investments, but rising prices mainly benefit existing owners, while younger and lower-income buyers are increasingly locked out. Grant structures also favor the well-off. Higher-income families can receive much larger grants for resale flats compared to the support available to lower-income families. Instead of being a stabilizing force, public housing has become a mechanism for wealth accumulation and social sorting, deepening the divide between rich and poor. Singapore's labor market is sharply divided. In recent years, the vast majority of employment growth has gone to foreigners, while many local workers face stagnant wages and job insecurity. The government's practice of aggregating data for citizens and permanent residents obscures the real impact on Singaporeans. Lower-income workers have seen only minimal wage growth, just above inflation, and many are stuck in gig work or low-paying service jobs with little chance for advancement. Meanwhile, high-paying positions in sectors like finance and technology are disproportionately filled by expatriates and permanent residents. The lack of detailed data on job distribution by citizenship and sector makes it difficult to assess the true state of citizen employment. Without transparency, inequality remains hidden and over time becomes even harder to reverse. Singapore's tax system is often described as progressive, but in reality it contains structural biases that favor the wealthy. Tax relief related to procreation, such as the working mother-child relief, disproportionately benefit high-income families who pay more tax and can claim larger offsets. The baby bonus scheme, while universal, offers limited support compared to the generous tax breaks enjoyed by affluent families. This creates a dual system: direct subsidies for the poor and substantial tax breaks for the rich. Additionally, Singapore lacks an official poverty line, making it difficult to measure and address deprivation. Without clear benchmarks, policies remain fragmented and reactive. A fair tax system should uplift the vulnerable, not just reward those who are already comfortable. Singapore's healthcare system is known for its efficiency, but it is underfunded relative to the country's reserves. Citizens often face high out-of-pocket costs, leading many to delay or avoid treatment due to affordability concerns. Despite billions being transferred to trust funds like the Medical Endowment Fund, direct spending on healthcare remains constrained. Means testing adds complexity and can be stigmatizing, discouraging some from seeking help. Schemes such as ComCare and MediFunds require extensive documentation, which can be a barrier for those in need. Ultimately, healthcare should be a public good, accessible to all, not a private burden. The reserves are meant to serve the people, not just preserve the government's balance sheet. Singapore's fiscal reporting practices differ from international standards, creating a hidden ledger that obscures the true financial capacity of the state. Land sales, which generate billions annually, are excluded from the operating budget and credited to past reserves. Transfers to trust and endowment funds are treated as current year expenditures, even though they are intended for future use. Under International Monetary Fund standards, land sales would be counted as revenue, and future year transfers would be deferred. This dual accounting system, one for public presentation and another for reserve management, limits public debate and constrains social investment. When accounting masks abundance, policies of austerity become the default, reinforcing the narrative of scarcity. Elitism in Singapore is not an accident. It is the result of deliberate policy choices, but it can be dismantled through thoughtful reform. Key steps include publishing an official poverty line including land sales and budget revenue, benchmarking CPF returns to actual investment performance, equalizing housing grants and education access, and increasing direct social spending on healthcare, pensions, and public housing. These reforms are not radical, they are reasonable and responsible, rooted in the principle that governance should serve the people, not just the balance sheet. By addressing these structural issues, Singapore can move towards a more equitable and inclusive society, ensuring that opportunity is not reserved for the privileged few but available to all.